Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Tessie and this is new to me. I haven't done this before. I haven't done any YouTube video or posted things about myself on the internet. I'm very wary. I try to keep my private life private. I've got a few businesses that I operate, but in all this I take my private life away from my business life and stuff like that. But I am taking the step out to try and use my story, my life experiences, to encourage somebody out there. So I'll try every week to post at least one video, or one video at least every couple of weeks. I'll be basing my videos on domestic violence, the topic domestic violence, and we know domestic violence comes in different shapes. It just doesn't necessarily have to be physical abuse. There's so many forms of domestic violence. It could be financial abuse, psychological abuse, just so many. And I'll be telling my story from day one to where I am at the moment. I've got 2 children, 2 girls, and every day of my life I see them, they encourage me. Like they say, oh mommy, oh keep doing it. No, I just see how they are very active, what they do, in their education, in their academics, in every way of life. They're growing up. I see them and I'm encouraged every day in my life to say these ones are the ones that push me to do anything that I'm doing. The backstory of my life is I was born into a poor family, not a middle class family. No, I wasn't born into a middle class family. My family was poor. My mom's very hardworking. Was very hardworking. Very hardworking. Anybody who knew her knows that my mom was very hardworking. My dad, this is an average African man, And we grew up in my family, we're all girls. We only had one male child. But the thing my parents always did for us was to give us that ability to speak up. Every one of us could speak up for ourselves, because we didn't have a male child. We didn't have anyone to defend us anywhere we go when we go out. So my parents always instilled that emphatic nature into us. And anybody who knows me know that I'm not scared of anything. I'm not scared of you. It means I will talk. However, the culture I came from doesn't encourage women to speak up. The culture always tells down on women who says things in defense of being oppressed. The culture always says, oh, if your man is talking, you shouldn't speak. You should always take the back bench. But fortunately, I wasn't raised up like that. I was raised to stand up for my rights. I was raised to defend myself, because I didn't have a brother at the time to defend me anyway. So if you say anything to me, I always have a clap back. We were raised that way, to defend. Just don't come on and tell mommy, oh, this one, this. It was like, what do you want me to do? To go and fight the person for you, or to go and be the person? It's not like they told us to be bullies. No, my mom will not even agree. She will make sure she disciplines you if you come home and you are the cause of any fight or something. She doesn't encourage it. Even though I wasn't involved in fighting or anything, my family were not involved in fighting. We always shy away from fighting, because when you come home, you're going to get it. However, we were encouraged to always speak up, always stand for our rights. Got married, and it was one of those things where you just knew from day one that it was wrong. Not that it was wrong, but that this is going to be a tough one. And from what we're coming for, you're getting married, you tell you, oh, let's obey your husband. Whatever your husband tells you, don't argue, just keep quiet. everything. Make sure you put food on the table. If your husband is upset with you and doesn't eat, go and kneel down in front of him and be begging him, beg him, oh my king, my lord, please. I'm not joking, oh. I'm not, this thing I'm telling you, I'm not joking. And I know a lot of African ladies, I mean, first generation African ladies who understand what I'm saying, and they will agree. If you've gotten married, they must have told you. And that's what I was told. Don't argue with your husband. Anything he says to you, just say yes. When I got married, I loved my husband. And at that time, in fact, I used to call him my king. Because literally, he's my king. He's the head. So he's my king. That's what I used to call him. And then things started degenerating. Because I think, kind of found out that there's this lady who is with all the accolades and everything, but I could still dominate her. And he did really dominated me. He did. For a very long time. And then got to a point where I couldn't take it anymore. I had to speak up. And when I started speaking up, it became an issue. It became that I was too proud. I was speaking up, speaking to my husband when I shouldn't. So this is just like a backdrop of things that I'll be talking about and so many other things. If you have any questions, please don't feel bad to ask me. You can always ask me anything, and if I want to answer, if I can answer, I will answer. I'll do the best I can to help, because the whole idea of my life is, if I have come this far, I've not reached where I'm going to, but if I've come this far, I should be able to help other women, other men who are in similar situation as I was a few years back. And my life ambition is to try and see marriages that can be saved and work on it. A few of my friends have come to me with marital problems, and the first thing I do is I tell you, can it be solved? Let's look at it. Can it be solved? If it can be solved, then let's solve it. I know a few friends who have come to me and say they're done. I'm like, you're not done. You're seeing me going about doing things I'm doing and you envy me. Don't envy me. I'm telling you that I would not wish the life of a single woman on my worst enemy. And I'm saying that hitting my hand on my chest, because it's not easy. It's very difficult. Before now, I used to look at single women. I'm like, how can you leave your husband? Could you not bear it? Because that's what we're told. That's what I was told. No matter what your husband is doing to you, bear it. Because look at me. I stayed in your father's house for years. I'm still here. That's what everybody told me. That's what everybody told us. But nobody told us that sometimes your husband will say things that you want to break his head. You want to do something, but you can't, because you've been raised up to say, don't ever argue, don't ever do this. So I always tell women who are going through challenges in their marriages, I said, can this be helped? If this can be saved, if this marriage can be saved, let's work to save it. And by the grace of God, at least I know 2 or 3 marriages that I've spoken to. When they came to me, they were expecting, because in their mind they were thinking, I'm done with this marriage, and they were expecting me to encourage them to leave. But I'm saying, no, I'm not going to drag you to join me in this ship. This ship is not a solid ship. You have to be tough. You have to be mentally stable. You have to be mentally strong, physically, everything. Otherwise, you have to have the support system to be able to scale in this ship of single mother. But if you're not able to, I'll say, let's do this. If your husband is trying, then what ways can we do to make sure he does better, or you do better help? And it's helped. But also, there are cases where you could tell that this is just not going to work. A case of a pastor beating his wife, throwing her stuff outside, locking her outside with her 2 children, and saying nobody can talk to him, because if they go to report to the head of the church, I mean the maybe the general overseer of the church or whatever, nobody will listen to the wife. So at any given opportunity, he beats the wife, doesn't give her food, he beats her outside and take off her wrapper from her to say, this is your nakedness. Go, everybody will see you, what you are hiding, what you know. That kind of situation. I was like, okay, what do you want to do? I'll ask, what do you want to do? Do you want to stay there and continue and he will beat you and kill you and someone else to take care of your children? Or do you want to go out? You're a graduate, you want to go out and sort yourself out. What do you want to do? What do you think you can do? And they come up with, I just say, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, but I don't know how I'm gonna cope. I'm gonna cope when I'm out there. What's gonna happen? And I said, well, are you sure that's your decision? Because you want to stay in your marriage, fine, we can work on it and see what's gonna happen. Try and help you stay in the marriage. But if you don't want to stay, then we can also work. The decision is in your hand, but I will help you. I will not tell you what to do. But I will also tell you that it's hard, it's difficult. And they say, oh, they don't know how they'll do, how they'll manage, how they're going to cope, what's going to happen to them. And I said, well, take me for example. I was in a country where I knew nobody. I didn't know anybody. For those who didn't know, I'm in the United Kingdom, by the way. I didn't know, when I came here, I didn't know anybody. The only friends I knew were my ex-husband's friends, If I go to tell them anything, they come back and say, oh, don't worry, that's just the way it is. Oh, things will settle out. Things will settle. I wasn't settling. So I stopped telling people, although I wasn't really telling people. Say, for example, I say, oh, this thing happened. Or we just discuss something that is not, I wouldn't ordinarily go and tell somebody that, oh, this is what my husband was. I was never doing it. So the funny thing was, when everything busted, he was, but you had a very happy life. I said, that's what it seemed, because I never discussed my problems with people. I always kept it to myself. I was like, I know you people have issues in your marriage. If I carry my own issue and bring to you, you're not going to be able to solve it. There's no point. And that is something that a lot of us women struggle with. And it's tough. It's tough. Like I said, this is my first video. I am very skeptical putting it out there. But it's my story. I own it. It's not something, I've never talked about this part of my life. People know me, people who are very close to me. Just maybe give them a hint, and that's it. Don't go into details. For so many reasons. Because going into details, it takes me back to the place where it was tough for me. So I either not talk about it, or I just brush it and say, oh, it's fine. I'm here now. I've gone past all that stuff. But there was a time when it wasn't easy. So putting this out there is just laying my life bare. I'm just actually naked, because a lot of people think of me as very strong. I hear a lot of things in this YouTube, my YouTube channel. Hopefully they won't think differently of me, but if they do, well, it's fine. So I haven't really told friends and family about this. So I'm very, very sure that the first people who are going to watch my video are people who don't know me from Adam. And I would like that. I like it that way. I want my channel to grow, obviously, to get a lot of people and to see how much I can encourage people. I want it to grow up organically. I don't want to tell people, oh, go to my channel, do this, because I am scared. Just like, so it is what it is. I'm going to put more videos out. But I want you to just understand where I'm coming from. I'm tough. But I know there are so many people who are not as tough as I am. And if for any way this will encourage somebody, that will be my greatest joy.